The 7 levels of Infinity Gauntlet wielders explained. Level 1. Theoretical failures. Green Goblin. Norman Osborn's brief dance with infinite power exists primarily in alternate timelines, making him one of the Gauntlet's most theoretical wielders. In the What If Infinity Dark Reign storyline by Rich Johnston and Lalit Kumar Sharma, the Green Goblin managed to steal the Infinity Gauntlet during his reign as America's top cop under the Dark Reign era. His usage was characteristically cruel and petty. He used reality warping power to force Spider-Man to relive Gwen Stacy's death on an endless loop, demonstrating that even with godlike abilities, Osborn remained fundamentally small-minded. He also managed to kill Thanos himself before being erased from existence through temporal manipulation. However, this story exists outside Marvel's main continuity, Earth 616, relegating Osborn's wielding to the realm of what might have been, rather than established canon. What makes the Green Goblin's hypothetical wielding particularly weak isn't just its non-canonical status, but how it revealed that unlimited power couldn't fix his fundamental character flaws. Even with control over reality itself, his priorities remained centered on personal vendettas rather than cosmic ambitions. Norman Osborn, brilliant industrialist and master strategist that he was, approached the Infinity Gauntlet with the mindset of a mob boss rather than a cosmic entity. The fact that this version of events required him to be defeated through time travel shenanigans rather than direct confrontation speaks to how dangerous he could be with infinite power, but also how his lack of cosmic awareness would always be his downfall. For an Infinity Gauntlet wielder, existing primarily in alternate realities is the ultimate failure, making the Green Goblin's connection to infinite power more cautionary tale than actual threat. Spider-Man. Peter Parker's encounter with the Infinity Gauntlet came in Avengers and the Infinity Gauntlet, 2010, a 4-issue limited series by Brian Clevenger and Brian Chirilla aimed at younger readers as part of Marvel's all-ages retelling initiative. In this simplified version of the classic Infinity Gauntlet story, Spider-Man led a group of surviving heroes, including Wolverine, Ms. Marvel, and even Doctor Doom, against Thanos after the Mad Titan had already wiped out half the universe. During the climactic battle, Thanos briefly lost his grip on the gauntlet, and Spider-Man used his signature webbing to snag it mid-air in what might be the most Spider-Man way possible to acquire ultimate cosmic power. Rather than attempting to use the gauntlet's power for personal gain or engage Thanos in a cosmic battle of wills, Peter made a single, simple wish that perfectly embodied his heroic instincts. I wish Thanos never got the Infinity Stones. The gauntlet complied, rewinding time and erasing the entire event from history. However, the aftermath, revealed the limitations of his brief godhood. The other Avengers had no memory of the events, thinking Spider-Man had simply been hit too hard on the head when he tried to explain what happened. Only Thanos retained his memories of being defeated by a teenager with a web shooter, now harboring a deep personal grudge against the web slinger. Peter himself wasn't entirely sure if it had all been real or just a dream. For all his good intentions and the objectively correct use of the gauntlet, Spider-Man's wielding lasted mere seconds and accomplished exactly one defensive act. While that single act saved the universe, it hardly qualifies as mastery, more like catching a grenade and successfully throwing it away before it explodes. Level 2. The Incomplete Collectors. Loki. The god of mischief's relationship with the Infinity Gems is more complicated than most, spanning multiple realities and demonstrating that even for an immortal trickster, these artifacts present challenges that transcend normal villainy. In the main Marvel Universe Earth 616, Loki has repeatedly interacted with the Infinity Stones but never successfully assembled the complete gauntlet. His most direct involvement came during the Heroic Age when he empowered Parker Robbins with the Norn Stones, inadvertently creating the power vacuum that drove the Hood to seek the Infinity Gems in the first place. However, Loki's actual wielding of the Infinity Gauntlet occurred during the Ultraverse crossover events detailed in Avengers Ultra Force 1995 and Ultra Force Avengers 1996. When the cosmic vampire Rune stole the Infinity Gems from Adam Warlock's Infinity Watch and fled to the Ultraverse, both the Avengers and Loki followed to Earth 93060. In this alternate reality, Loki managed to collect all 6 traditional Infinity Gems and discovered the existence of a 7th gem called the Ego Gem, which represented the consciousness of the primordial entity Nemesis. The Grandmaster wagered this 7th gem against Loki's 6 in a cosmic contest of champions, with Loki selecting the Ultraverse's Ultra Force as his team against the Grandmaster's Avengers. Loki won the wager using the Reality Gem's power and claimed the Ego Gem, which was psychically linked to the Avenger Circe. When she came into contact with Loki, the two merged together involuntarily, reuniting all 7 gems and temporarily recreating Nemesis. However, this merged entity was quickly defeated by the combined forces of Ultra Force and multiple Avenger teams from various realities. Loki's wielding was less a deliberate act of cosmic mastery and more an accidental fusion that he couldn't control. He became part of something greater, rather than truly wielding the gauntlet himself. For a god who prides himself on cunning and control, being absorbed into a primordial entity represents the ultimate loss of agency. The Hood. Parker Robbins represents something unique in the hierarchy of Infinity Gauntlet wielders. Street-level criminal who came closer to assembling the complete gauntlet than almost any other human being through sheer determination and underworld connections. During the Heroic Age storyline in Avengers Vol. 4 No. 712, 2011, by Brian Michael Bendis and John Romita Jr., the Hood embarked on a systematic campaign to steal the Infinity Gems from the Illuminati after learning their locations from a fellow inmate at Rikers Island named Urtzia, an Inhuman who knew where Black Bolt had hidden the reality gem. Having lost his mystical powers granted by Dormammu after Brother Voodoo exorcised the demon during the Siege event, Parker was desperate to reclaim his status as one of Marvel's premier crime lords. His collection spree was nothing short of impressive for a non-powered human operating against Earth's mightiest heroes. He first acquired the reality gem from the ruins of Adelan in the Himalayas, using it for reality alteration and teleportation abilities. With this single gem, he infiltrated the Baxter Building headquarters of the Fantastic Four and stole the power gem, which amplified his strength enough to nearly kill the Red Hulk in combat. He then seized the space gem from Iron Man's own vault at Avengers Tower, and finally obtained the mind gem during an assault on the ruins of the X-Mansion, defeating Professor X himself in psychic combat. A remarkable feat for someone with no natural telepathic abilities. Armed with 4 of the 6 Infinity Gems, the Hood had overpowered multiple Avengers teams, including Thor and Namor. However, Uatu the Watcher observed that the Hood's ability to use the gems, while impressive, was fundamentally limited because he simply thought about power in crude, transactional terms, rather than understanding their cosmic nature. In the final confrontation in Avengers No. 12, Iron Man revealed he had secretly gathered all 6 gems and assembled the complete Infinity Gauntlet. The reality gem abandoned the Hood to reunite with its siblings in Iron Man's completed gauntlet, and Tony used that power to teleport Parker back to his prison cell at Rikers Island. Level 3. Overwhelmed Heroes. Hulk. Bruce Banner's experience with the Infinity Gauntlet exists primarily in alternate timelines, each revealing different aspects of what happens when uncontrollable rage meets unlimited power. In the Ultimate Universe storyline Ultimate Comics Ultimates No. 25, 2011, by Sam Humphries and Luke Ross, Hulk wielded not 1 but 2 Infinity Gauntlets simultaneously, though notably these gauntlets weren't equipped with all 8 Infinity Gems that exist in that reality, as the Ultimate Universe contains 2 extra gems beyond the standard 6. When Kang the Conqueror ambushed Sahai-Ild, who possessed both gauntlets, he released the imprisoned Hulk specifically to create chaos. Banner quickly apprehended both gauntlets and went on a rampage against his former teammates in the Ultimates, that universe's equivalent of the Avengers. For a brief, terrifying moment, the Ultimates thought all was lost. 2 Infinity Gauntlets on the strongest being in their universe spelled certain doom. However, the incomplete nature of the gauntlets proved to be their salvation. Without all 8 gems socketed in each gauntlet, Hulk's power, while tremendously amplified, remained within the realm of the beatable rather than ascending to true omnipotence. In the main Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline, Bruce Banner's interaction with the Infinity Stones took a different form in Avengers Endgame 2019. After the surviving Avengers used time travel to gather the Infinity Stones, Banner, now permanently merged with Hulk in a stable Professor Hulk form, was chosen to perform the snap that would restore everyone Thanos had erased. The logic was sound. Hulk's gamma radiation-based physiology made him uniquely suited to survive the energy output. Banner successfully performed the snap, bringing back billions of lives across the universe, but the energy feedback severely damaged his right arm permanently. Unlike Thanos' original snap that required no visible effort, Hulk's snap visibly hurt him and took concentrated willpower to complete, demonstrating that even for the Hulk, wielding the complete Infinity Gauntlet pushed beyond safe operational limits. Captain America. Steve Rogers' encounter with the Infinity Gauntlet stands as one of the most tragic examples of heroic intention meeting cosmic limitation. In New Avengers Vol. 3 No. 3, 2013, by Jonathan Hickman and Steve Epting, Black Panther discovered that alternate reality Earths were colliding with Earth 616 in catastrophic events called incursions, multiversal phenomena where 2 universes would overlap, and unless one Earth was destroyed within 8 hours, both universes would be annihilated. The Illuminati, now counting Captain America among their number after Iron Man, had added him to the secret cabal following the Hood incident, faced an impossible moral equation: build weapons to destroy other planets or watch their own reality die along with countless innocent lives. When the first incursion occurred, the Illuminati entrusted Steve Rogers with the reassembled Infinity Gauntlet. Channeling complete power, Steve felt near omnipotence. So much power. I can control the heavens, I can control the Earth. The power output was so immense that Galactus, Uatu the Watcher, and Thanos sensed the disturbance. Captain America successfully pushed back the alternate alternate Earth, saving both universes without destroying either planet. However, the vibrational feedback shattered 5 gems. Only the time gem mysteriously vanished. Despite successfully using ultimate power without compromising his principles, Captain America remained opposed to building planet-killing weapons for future incursions. The other Illuminati members, recognizing an irreconcilable philosophical impasse, had Dr. Strange wipe Steve's memory and expelled him from the group. Iron Man. Tony Stark holds a unique distinction in Marvel Comics history. He was the first human being to successfully utilize the complete Infinity Gauntlet in the main Earth 616 continuity, and he did so with characteristic genius-level strategic thinking. This historic moment occurred in Avengers Volume 4, Number 12, 2011, by Brian Michael Bendis and John Romita Jr., at the climactic conclusion of the Hood's campaign to collect the Infinity Gems. While Parker Robbins had managed to gather 4 of the 6 gems through cunning, violence, and exploiting the Illuminati's scattered hiding places, Iron Man had been secretly working with the reformed Illuminati to recover the stolen gems and prevent the Hood from achieving omnipotence. In the final confrontation, Iron Man revealed his trump card. He had already assembled the other 5 gems into the Infinity Gauntlet. The moment Tony Stark donned the completed gauntlet represents one of the most psychologically complex wieldings in Marvel history. Stark contemplated infinite possibilities: end all war, solve every social problem, cure every disease, create a perfect utopia. The temptation was immense for a man defined by believing he can engineer solutions to any problem. But Stark recognized the fundamental trap. To impose even benevolent perfection would rob the universe of free will. He teleported the Hood back to prison, then claimed to destroy the gauntlet. However, this was calculated deception. Tony knew from Illuminati files that Reed Richards had failed to destroy the gems. Instead, Iron Man secretly transported the gauntlet to Illuminati headquarters, where they divided and hid the gems again with improved security. Level 4. Tactical Geniuses. Reed Richards. Mr. Fantastic's encounter with the Infinity Gauntlet occurred during one of the Illuminati's earliest and most consequential meetings, documented in New Avengers, Illuminati Volume 2, Number 2, 2007, by Brian Michael Bendis, Brian Reed, and Jim Chung. Reed Richards, representing the scientific perspective among Earth's secret power brokers, revealed to the assembled group, which included Iron Man, Dr. Strange, Professor X, Namor, and Black Bolt, that he had been quietly collecting the Infinity Gems and now possessed intelligence on the locations of all 6. Despite the group's collective reluctance to reassemble what was arguably the most dangerous weapon in the universe, they agreed that leaving the gems scattered and unaccounted for posed an even greater risk of someone like Thanos or Doctor Doom gathering them first. Through various methods, including negotiation and theft, the Illuminati retrieved all 6 gems. Reed donned the gauntlet with a specific goal: will the gems out of existence, permanently removing the threat. However, he discovered the gems exist as essential universal components and cannot be destroyed, even by their own power. The gauntlet resisted his will, and Reed felt himself losing control as infinite power tempted him with visions of problems he could solve, materialized to chastise the Illuminati for their hubris. Shaken, Reed proposed each member hide 1 gem secretly, with none revealing their hiding place even to fellow Illuminati. This distribution strategy, while well-intentioned, would later enable the Hood's collection spree. Black Panther. T'Challa's encounter with the Infinity Gauntlet occurred during one of Marvel's most reality-shattering events, Secret Wars 2015 by Jonathan Hickman and Asad Ribic. After the incursions between parallel Earths could not be stopped by any means, including Captain America's use of the Infinity Gauntlet which had shattered the gems, the entire Marvel multiverse collapsed into oblivion. From this cosmic destruction emerged Battleworld, a single patchwork reality composed of fragments from destroyed universes, all ruled with absolute authority by God Emperor Doom. Victor Von Doom had stolen the power of the Beyonders, themselves reality-warping beings who existed beyond the multiverse, and used that stolen power to literally rebuild existence according to his vision and will. Black Panther and Namor, having survived aboard a life raft designed by Reed Richards, found themselves in this Doom-dominated reality. In Secret Wars number 69, T'Challa and Namor discovered Doctor Strange's hidden Infinity Gauntlet. Black Panther wielded its 6 gems against God Emperor Doom, but faced a fundamental limitation. Doom's Beyonder-derived power exceeded what the gauntlet could provide by orders of magnitude. The gauntlet functions within universal boundaries, whereas Doom's abilities transcended such limits entirely. Despite this, Black Panther used tactical genius, not trying to match Doom's power, but creating strategic advantages and buying crucial seconds for Reed Richards to disrupt Doom's power source. After Doom's defeat and reality's restoration, T'Challa attempted using the gauntlet to prevent the catastrophe, but because Reed's reconstruction had prevented the incursions in the rebuilt multiverse, this temporal journey had no lasting effect. Level 5. Cosmic Wielders. Silver Surfer. Norrin-Radd's encounter with the Infinity Gauntlet exists in what-if storylines exploring alternate timelines where Galactus's herald claimed ultimate power. The scenario is fascinating because the Silver Surfer, already cosmically aware with vast power cosmic, would theoretically handle the gauntlet better than mortals without losing himself to corruption or madness. In the mid-1990s what-if story, the Surfer acquired the complete gauntlet and tried fixing universal problems with genuine good intentions. Unlike Thanos' nihilism or human wielders' limited perspective, the Surfer approached the gauntlet with cosmic awareness to alleviate suffering. He eliminated hunger, disease, war, and injustice universally, reshaping reality. For a time, he succeeded brilliantly, bringing peace to countless worlds and ending millennia-long conflicts. However, the weight of infinite responsibility began overwhelming him. The constant needs, impossible moral calculations, and unforeseen consequences gradually consumed him. He became increasingly detached from his identity, losing who Norrin-Radd had been. His salvation came when Shalabal appeared and reminded him of his essential self. Recognizing he was becoming as much a tyrant as any villain despite good intentions, the Surfer voluntarily relinquished the gauntlet, choosing personhood's limitations over godhood's burden. Nebula. Nebula's wielding of the Infinity Gauntlet represents one of the most pivotal moments in the original Infinity Gauntlet miniseries number 5/6, 1991 by Jim Starlin and Ron Lim. Thanos, having achieved virtual omnipotence and killed half the universe with a snap of his fingers, had spent the storyline systematically defeating every hero and cosmic entity who challenged him, including Eternity, Galactus, Lord Chaos, Master Order, and the other abstract beings of the Marvel Universe. In his ultimate display of power and his twisted courtship of death, Thanos transcended his physical form to literally replace Eternity as the living embodiment of the universe itself, leaving his physical body in a catatonic state with the Infinity Gauntlet still attached to his hand. This proved Thanos' critical mistake. Nebula, whom Thanos had transformed into a grotesque living corpse as punishment, saw her opportunity. With Thanos' consciousness operating cosmically and his body vulnerable, Nebula pulled the gauntlet off his hand, claiming ultimate power. Her first act restored herself to health. Her second was far more significant. She reversed Thanos' snap, restoring billions of lives and becoming the universe's savior. However, Nebula lacked the cosmic awareness to truly control the gauntlet. Adam Warlock recognized the gems possess sentience and respond to the wielder's will. Nebula focused on revenge. Rather than cosmic mastery, couldn't maintain concentration when facing coordinated assault. Thanos, reverting to physical form and allied with heroes out of fury, helped orchestrate her defeat. Magus. The Magus, Adam Warlock's dark future self and the embodiment of all the evil purged from Warlock's soul, stands as one of the Infinity Gauntlet's most dangerous and nearly successful wielders. In the Infinity War crossover event, 1992 by Jim Starlin and Ron Lim, the direct sequel to the original Infinity Gauntlet, the Magus had spent years preparing for his attempt to claim ultimate power, learning from Thanos' mistakes and planning a more sophisticated approach to cosmic omnipotence. The Magus had collected 5 cosmic containment units, also known as cosmic cubes, which are reality warping devices only slightly less powerful than the Infinity Gems themselves. With this foundation of power, he created an interdimensional realm and manufactured an army of evil doppelgangers of Earth's heroes to serve as his forces. Most significantly, the Magus systematically gathered 5 of the 6 Infinity Gems and mounted them on a replica Infinity Gauntlet. The 6th gem, the Soul Gem, remained in Adam Warlock's possession. Warlock being the one the Magus genuinely feared due to their shared existence and Warlock's intimate knowledge of the gems. During the Infinity War, the Living Tribunal temporarily lifted the ban on the Infinity Gems being used together, allowing both heroes and villains to attempt using them to resolve the crisis. The Magus appeared to achieve near omnipotence with his 5-gem gauntlet, easily defeating even cosmic-level opponents. Dr. Doom attempted to steal the gauntlet from the Magus and was effortlessly stopped. Quasar, wielder of the quantum bands and protector of the universe, tried to challenge the Magus and was defeated as casually as swatting a fly. The Magus' power seemed unstoppable, his mastery of the 5 gems appearing to grant him everything he needed to reshape reality according to his dark vision. However, the Magus' defeat came not from raw power, but from deception. Adam Warlock and Thanos, working together in an uneasy alliance, had secretly replaced one of the gems with a powerless replica before the Magus could mount it on his gauntlet. The gem they switched was the Reality Gem, perhaps the most versatile and dangerous of all the Infinity Gems. With this single fake gem creating a gap in the Magus' power, his apparent omnipotence was revealed as incomplete, and Adam Warlock ultimately absorbed the Magus back into the Soul Gem. Level 6, the Masters. Galactus. The Devourer of Worlds encounter with the Infinity Gems occurred in the Thanos ongoing series, 2003 to 2004, written by Jim Starlin and illustrated by various artists including Jim Starlin himself. Galactus, one of the oldest and most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe, a cosmic constant necessary for the universe's balance and the sole survivor of the previous universe before the current one, gathered all 6 Infinity Gems with a specific purpose in mind that differed from every other wielder's ambitions. Galactus sought to use the gauntlet to end his cosmic hunger, the fundamental need to consume planets that has defined his existence since the birth of the current universe. This hunger isn't a choice or a moral failing, but a cosmic imperative. Galactus must feed on planetary energy to survive, and his survival is necessary for the universe's eventual rebirth. The Devourer of Worlds collected the gems from a vampiric skeleton, presumably the remains of Rune after his defeat, retrieved through an interdimensional portal that Galactus opened with his power cosmic. With all 6 Infinity Gems in his possession, Galactus attempted to use their reality warping capabilities to fundamentally alter his own nature, removing the hunger that forces him to destroy inhabited worlds and cause suffering across the cosmos. However, Galactus's plan catastrophically failed, not because he lacked the power or will to make such a change, but because an interdimensional parasite entity known as hunger had been mentally influencing him throughout the entire process. This parasitic being, which fed on cosmic entities, had manipulated Galactus into gathering the gems specifically to create a bridge between dimensions that would allow hunger to enter the Earth 616 universe. As Thanos later noted with characteristic insight, if Galactus had truly wanted to eliminate his hunger using the Infinity Gems, he could have simply wished it away directly. The fact that he didn't suggests the parasite's influence was affecting his judgment from the beginning. The interdimensional entity Hunger, once it gained access to the main Marvel universe through Galactus's gem-powered dimensional breach, posed a threat so severe that it required Thanos and Galactus to work together to banish it back to its home dimension. Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock stands as the Infinity Gauntlet's most historically significant and philosophically complex wielder, with a relationship to the Infinity Gems, particularly the Soul Gem, that stretches back to Marvel Premiere #1, April 1972, by Roy Thomas and Gil Kane, making him the first character to bear an Infinity Stone. Originally called Him, Warlock was given the Soul Gem by the High Evolutionary under mysterious circumstances, wearing it on his forehead for years before understanding its true cosmic significance. This long association gave Warlock an intimate understanding of the gem's nature, including their quasi-sentience and the way they respond to a wielder's consciousness and will. Following Nebula's brief and chaotic wielding during the climax of the original Infinity Gauntlet storyline, Warlock managed to separate her from the artifact and claim it for himself, using its power to undo the damage caused by both Thanos and Nebula and restore cosmic order. However, Adam Warlock's assumption of godhood did not go unnoticed. The Living Tribunal, one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel multiverse, intervened and declared that Adam Warlock was unworthy to wield the gauntlet. The Tribunal's reasoning was profound. Warlock lacked the ability to make truly impartial decisions because he had expelled his good and evil aspects, creating the Magus and the Goddess as separate entities. A wielder of infinite power must access the full spectrum of moral choices, and Warlock's self-imposed limitation made him incomplete. Faced with this cosmic judgment, Warlock created the Infinity Watch in Warlock and the Infinity Watch #1-2, 1992, by Jim Starlin and Angel Medina. Drax the Destroyer received the Power Gem, Moondragon the Mind Gem, Pip the Troll the Space Gem, and Gamora the Time Gem. Secretly, Warlock gave the Reality Gem to Thanos himself, making the Mad Titan a hidden 6th member, a decision that speaks to Warlock's understanding that Thanos could be trusted to guard something he knew should never be used. Dr. Doom. Victor Von Doom's relationship with the Infinity Gauntlet is unique among all wielders because he represents the only being who possessed the gauntlet while simultaneously wielding power that vastly exceeded it. This occurred during the Secret Wars event, 2015, by Jonathan Hickman and Assad Ribic, when Dr. Doom achieved something that even Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet could not accomplish. He killed the Beyonders, reality-warping entities who existed beyond the multiverse itself and whose power dwarfed anything the Infinity Gems could provide. The Beyonders had initiated incursions between parallel universes as part of a multiversal experiment, and when Dr. Doom, working with Doctor Strange and Molecule Man, discovered their existence, he orchestrated an impossible heist, stealing the Beyonders' power for himself. With this stolen Beyonder power, Doom became God, Emperor Doom, the absolute ruler of what remained after the multiverse's destruction. He literally rebuilt reality from the ashes of collapsed universes, creating Battleworld as a patchwork realm composed of fragments from destroyed realities, all existing solely because Doom willed it so. In this context, when Black Panther confronted him wielding the Infinity Gauntlet, Doom's response was telling. He acknowledged the gauntlet's presence, but dismissed it as essentially a powerful trinket, something interesting but not threatening to a being who operated on a fundamentally higher level of power. The Infinity Gauntlet grants control over the 6 aspects of existence within a single universe, but Doom's beyonder-derived abilities transcended universal boundaries entirely. In What If? Secret Wars, Vol. 1 No. 1, another version of this scenario showed Dr. Doom wielding the Infinity Gauntlet in addition to his beyonder power, and even then he regarded it as merely an enhancement to abilities he already possessed. This unique position places Dr. Doom in a category almost beyond wielder. He possessed the Gauntlet while simultaneously demonstrating that there exist powers in the Marvel Universe that make even the Infinity Stones seem limited by comparison. His eventual defeat came not from superior force, but from Reed Richards exploiting Doom's one weakness, his need for validation and recognition. Level 7, Beyond Wielders, Thanos. The Mad Titan stands as the definitive Infinity Gauntlet wielder, against whom all others are measured. Thanos' relationship began in the Thanos Quest No. 1-2, 1990, by Jim Starlin and Ron Lim, where he systematically hunted down all 6 Infinity Gems from the Elders of the Universe. Resurrected by Mistress Death to correct a cosmic imbalance, Thanos approached his quest with methodical brilliance, using guile, force, and knowledge of each Elder's weaknesses to claim their gems. With all 6 gems mounted on a golden gauntlet, Thanos became the first to assemble the complete Infinity Gauntlet in the landmark Infinity Gauntlet No. 1-6, 1991, by Jim Starlin, George Perez, and Ron Lim. What he accomplished remains unmatched. He erased half of all life in the universe with a single snap, killing trillions as an offering to death. When Earth's heroes attacked in issue No. 4, he casually defeated them, turning Wolverine's bones to rubber, trapping Spider-Man in his own webbing. When cosmic entities, Eternity, Galactus, Lord Chaos, Master Order, the Celestials, and even Death herself, combined their powers against him in issue No. 5, Thanos defeated them all simultaneously, turning many to stone and overwhelming even Eternity. He transcended his physical form to replace Eternity, becoming the universe itself. This proved his single tactical error. Nebula seized the gauntlet from his catatonic body. Thanos' wielding demonstrated not just raw power, but cosmic awareness, tactical brilliance, and will strong enough to achieve virtual omnipotence. He remains the standard by which all wielders are judged. Celestials. The Celestials occupy a unique position because they transcend the very concept of wielding these artifacts. They are their creators and cosmic gardeners. In Infinity Wars No. 5, 2018, by Jerry Duggan and Mike Deodato Jr., Loki discovered that the stones originate from the primordial universe, a realm existing before the current multiverse where Celestials reside. These towering space gods guard massive deposits of countless Infinity Stones, creating them and infusing them with cosmic energy from their own essence, then distributing them throughout different realities across the multiverse. This revelation fundamentally altered the Infinity Stones mythology. What had been understood as 6 unique artifacts were revealed as one set among countless others across infinite realities. The Celestials don't use the stones because they are the source from which the stone's power flows. Each Celestial possesses power, equaling or exceeding a complete set, making the idea of them needing a gauntlet meaningless. When Celestials confronted Thanos during his reign in Infinity Gauntlet No. 5, their combined might made up only a fraction of the gauntlet's power. However, this occurred within a universe where the gauntlet functions. The Celestials in their primordial realm exist beyond such limitations. They've destroyed entire realities, seeded galaxies with life, and shaped evolution across the multiverse. Surrounded by infinite Infinity Stones they create, the Celestials represent existence where the gauntlet is one tool among many. They don't wield the Infinity Stones, they author them into existence. Nemesis. Nemesis represents the absolute apex of Infinity Stone power, because Nemesis is what the Infinity Gems were before they became separate artifacts, the primordial cosmic entity from which all stones originated. According to Avengers Ultra Force 995 and Ultra Force Avengers 996, Nemesis existed before recorded time over 1,000 billion years ago as the only living thing within any and all realities. It was infinity incarnate, the sole consciousness in a completely empty multiverse, possessing unlimited power over every aspect of existence because it was existence itself. However, Nemesis's omnipotence came with unbearable loneliness. Being the only sentient entity across reality drove Nemesis to cosmic despair. It created a demon horde, but they turned wicked and were destroyed, only emphasizing the entity's solitude. Overwhelmed by lonely omnipotence, Nemesis chose cosmic suicide, shattering itself into 6 pieces, each becoming an Infinity Gem. This self-destruction birthed most of Marvel reality, spreading time, space, reality, power, mind, and soul across the cosmos. However, Nemesis actually split into 7 pieces. The 7th, the Ego Gem, represented its consciousness, lost to the Ultraverse for eons. When Loki collected all 6 traditional gems in the Ultraverse and won the Ego Gem from the Grandmaster, the 7 gems forcibly reunited, merging Loki with Cersei to recreate Nemesis. The reunited entity possessed vast universal-scale power, easily obliterating multiple Avengers and Ultraforce teams. However, the 6 other gems' consciousnesses, now separate entities, plagued Nemesis with conflicting advice, creating internal discord. This allowed combined forces to mount an assault. The Black Knight used an alternate ebony blade to sever the connection between gems, shattering Nemesis again. Nemesis represents not just the most powerful wielder, but the Infinity Gem's literal origin, the cosmic being whose sacrifice created the very concept of the Infinity Stones and much of reality itself. If you enjoyed learning about these cosmic wielders and their relationship with ultimate power, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep dive into comic book history.